Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another session of Speak Your Mind. So tonight we want to invite you guys into our house, and we want to be invited into yours. So I want you guys to do what you normally do. Call your friends, call your family, call your representative, call whoever you need to call, and let them know that Speak Your Mind show is on. Tonight I hope that we're going to have a very stimulating conversation about food and food security and health of our people, production of agriculture, keeping it alive. It's a vital business throughout the world, and it should be one here in the BVI. So get on the phone. I'm going to give you guys some time to do what you need to do. In the meantime, I have two really good guests. They're no stranger to you guys. I want to introduce these guys, or let them introduce themselves. One of them, you know, he's a very vocal person in the community. You've probably heard or seen him on different programs. That's Shawande.
Yes.
Also, I call him Doc. He told me the other day he's a nurse. He's not a doctor. He's a nurse. Brother Coy, very intelligent young man. Sometimes I listen to him on the radio when he's preaching the gospel. He doesn't know that. He knows that now. So tonight, again, ladies and gentlemen, our focus, it's not the only thing that you can talk about, but our focus tonight is on agriculture. It's funny, just the other day I was sitting around, and my head was going crazy, and I said, you know, people keep calling and talking about, you know, the farmers, and they haven't been able to see the minister. So I wanted to really highlight that tonight, whether that was true or not. I wanted to give some of the farmers an opportunity to express themselves, to let you know in the wider community that they're here, they're alive, they're willing, they're able, they're capable of producing food, and we want to highlight those reasons why it's important for us to start focusing on this type of economy-driven base that we used to enjoy. I mean, back in the days, that's what a lot of our men did. They plowed the land to survive. Today, people are plowing land in other places to survive, and they're selling us their goods and service. So why shouldn't we be able to do it for ourselves? So again, I'm going to give these guys a chance to introduce themselves. Shawande, well, talk to the people.
Well, Brother Sam, I just want to thank you for inviting us to the program, Speak Your Mind. Just to say you've been doing a wonderful job on the show since you become a part of the program. I do watch the program, and it's very informative, and it gives the community an important forum for debating and discussing issues. I'm happy to be here to be able to speak about agricultural production in the Virgin Islands, because it's a sector that has a lot of potential. I'm a member of the organization Farmers on the Move. Right now I'm the treasurer, and you know, I'm looking forward to a good discussion tonight.
Good. Brother Coy?
Well, I just want to thank you, Brother Henry, for allowing me to come on the program as well. It's a pleasure for us to actually be here. Farmers on the Move. I'm actually the president for the group, and so one is the treasurer. We have other members, but today we really want to just let you know what we're about, what we're doing, and how you can actually support us in this endeavor.
Well, thank you guys again. So ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, I just want to say again, the show is open. It is Speak Your Mind. So we're open to, you know, whatever's affecting you in the community. It's not just about farming tonight, but again, that's just our agenda. We want to have a focus tonight. We want to hope that we can have a good stimulated conversation, and then at the end we can come to some understanding. In the end, the people in the community, yourself, will be more informed. And also, in the end, what we're really hoping, or what I would hope to achieve tonight, is that the community knows that farmers are alive and well, they're producing food that you use every day. You go to the supermarket and you buy it. And I would like to see the community embrace the local farmers more financially, because it's important. If you don't embrace the product that's grown here financially, the farmers are just doing what they're doing in vain. And they need your support. So that's really my focus, is to bring the information and solicit your business, solicit your ideas as well. You're going to hear some really interesting thing here. You know, a lot of people, sometimes I hear them say the farmers are just complaining. Well, guess what? We got two brothers on this stage tonight, or in this studio with me tonight, who are not just complaining. They don't complain. What they do is highlight the things that are needed and necessary, but they're actually doing things. They're in action. So you'll hear about the movement tonight. Shawana just preluded me just now. He said farmers on the move. So you'll hear a little bit more about farmers on the move later on in the show. So again, the show is open. We're gonna leave the phone calls open if you want to call and talk about farming, agriculture, food production, raising of goats and cattle and so forth. And we're looking at different things. What we're going to talk about first tonight, we're going to look at food security. We're going to talk a little bit about you know, guys, just feel free to jump in whenever possible. I'm gonna just throw the questions to you. Food security, obviously, it's a big concern right now with a lot of countries. I was doing some homework, some research. I found two very good, interesting articles. One on Forbes magazine, as a matter of fact, where some scientists in Holland were talking about water shortages throughout the world, and they were connecting that with the lack of production in corn and wheat and different products that, you know, animals need in order to live and feed off. And now just recently we saw a report in the United States where they said there's going to be a shortage of bacon. They said if you really like bacon, there's going to be a shortage, and the reason why is because the pigs haven't been fed. They're not growing fast enough, they're not producing enough bacon. How do you feel about the security? When we say security, we're talking about if we're able to supply some of what we're importing, wouldn't that be better for us? What do you think, Shawana? Give me your take on that.
Well, absolutely. We know what the economy is like today. We had the economic downturn around 2008 or so, and that had all kind of ripple effects in our economy. Today we see an economy that where, you know, it's really, in my particular view, it's almost as though this type of economy we have has peaked somewhat. Financial services, it's hard to see whether that's going to grow much more and provide much more revenue than it has already in the past. Of course, there's a lot of discussion about tourism and moving that forward and making that stronger. But the government needs revenue. There are a lot of people who are unemployed. So the economy is in a real poor state at this particular moment.
So you believe, well, if we're able to produce enough, we can employ people.
But now is the time.
Now is the time.
Now is the time. Agriculture, our society used to be an agricultural-based society, fishing and farming, and it sustained us up until, you know, maybe the 70s or so, where financial services and tourism came on stream. In my view, we really dropped the ball in agriculture. There have been a few farmers who have been holding the strain for us and not allowing farming to die, and keep it until this point so we can actually revive it through organizations like Farmers on the Move. There's a guy called Michael Foote who he came down here and he did a report sent from the United Kingdom to basically survey the impact of the overseas territories, of any significant impact on the financial services territory. And one of the first things he said is that these economies overly rely on tourism and financial services, and if you have any kind of impact there, the societies are very, very vulnerable.
So it's important that we find ways, other ways to diversify economy. Now, Koi, real quick, when I think of security, right, I look at some of the economies in the Caribbean, you know, some of the other countries. You know, just importing food from wherever, from Latin America, from America, from different parts of the world. If they stop sending us food tomorrow, what will happen to the BVI?
Well, it's quite obvious the fact that tropical shipping and some of the other vessels tend to be the main carriers for what we eat and what we drink. It shows us that we would be in a state of dire need for food. The good scripture says that the tradesman controls the world, but the farmer controls the nation. Wow. Because he has the very nation in his hand, because we all have to eat at the end of the day. And that is so powerful, because it reminds me of where it talks about a famine being in the land. And may I say that this famine that will be in the land is going to be where price will escalate, and then persons would not have the leisure of purchasing products that they would have as staple. You know, it is not because it will be a shortage, but it's because prices would escalate, which is already happening because of fuel. We're so dependent on fossil fuel that these carriers have to carry their prices up as the barrel price goes up. So we have to take a serious look as to what we can do to prevent ourselves from being in such a situation. And I think the best thing to do is just get involved in some level of food production. All
right, let's get to the phone real quick. We got a call. You want to speak your mind? Go ahead, please.
Hello?
All right, go ahead.
Sam.
Hey, talk to me.
It's one of the best topics I have been up for the longest while.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
Even though you bring it up tonight, I won't bring it up anyway. Every time I hear you on the radio and all of them, everybody, tourism, cruise ship dock and the airport, and all of that's good. But you can't chop up the white people and put them in your plate. Neither can you use the money that they left here. You don't show up dollar bills and swallow them down. You got to eat food. And the fact I'm concerned, the government, for the past 20 years, they ain't doing nothing for agriculture. All of them, the load of talk all the time. Santo Domingo full of food. And if they were interested in helping the BVI, as a ton in Paris, they got to left the whole other land, they ain't got nothing. They could have plant at least 75, where food tree goes straight up in the bottom, coconut way up in the bottom, avocado, the people could go up there and buy things. They could go up there and buy things for the supermarket. Instead of spending a heap of stupid money all about and they could have got to agriculture. Let me show you how serious it is. We'll watch tree on the horizon, but I ain't get it yet. Anytime there's a shipping strike, and them boys have not shipping leave port, we gonna die first.
Food security.
In the water, we drink now, imported. We ain't got nothing, we ain't got coconut tree, go eat 2 coconut and drink some water, the jelly, and keep us alive for a while. Nothing at all we ain't got. 2 countries in the Caribbean start agricultural drive. While in Spencer encouraging every household in Antigua to plant. He said every household plant something, you don't cut it down.
True.
Barbados started too. We in the BVI, we too fancy now to plant food for to eat. And the government supposed to go and bring a 3 or 4 tractors, put them in Paris. They could rent the tractor, plow your land, and carry them back. Encourage people to plant. The agricultural department supposed to got a tent right by the roundabout with banana, plantain, all the fruits them, white bread, food, avocado. You could go right there and buy them and plant. Encourage people to plant. When you're passing, you're driving, you see this thing there, you don't stop and buy some and plant. Instead of going to Paris. You don't want Paris, but when you're passing, you see them there, you're going to go and buy. But they ain't doing nothing. Everything is tourism. Then I need the white people to come here. I'll be back later.
All right, Carla, thank you. I'm gonna let you guys respond to that. But Carla, I know you're watching. I wanna when you do call back, I wanna invite you on this show because you're a person of good conscience. You always stimulate the conversation, and I respect what you said. You're absolutely right. It's so much of a focus on tourism that sometimes we forget there's other areas in in our society that needs attention. But you also have to understand that every time we get on this show, the people that take part in the show, the people calling about tourism, and that's their interest. So we can't deny them a conversation as well. But we appreciate that. So when you call back, I think I know you, but I don't know you, and I really would like to get you on the show so we can talk about history and culture and some other things that I know, because you're a very well-informed person. So I wonder what you say. He just talked about food security again, and this is what we're talking about. You know, he alluding to some things that could have happened and still could happen. And again, we're going to touch some of that even down the road with Farmers on the Move, because I think Farmers on the Move have a much bigger plan. But if you look at where they put in the Bywater buildings, even that land could have been used to plow and grow food, so we don't have to keep dependent on so much on this amount of food coming in. What do you think about
I mean, what the caller said is that we're really not taking agriculture seriously.
Yeah.
He said for the last 20 years.
Hold your thoughts, though, one day. It's going to be hot tonight. I'll let you guys know that from now. You want to speak your mind? Go ahead, please.
Sam, how you doing?
I'm good, you know. Talk to us.
You're in my mouth for a long time.
It's been a while.
Well, you got a good topic there. One of these things that really puzzle me here around this country, right? Is that we in the Caribbean used to grow a lot of food. A lot of banana, plantain, sweet cassava, whatever you name it. And they can grow right here in Tatola.
Yeah.
And they're growing right here in Tatola.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, Carla, we're going to talk about, because it's on our agenda, but we welcome the discussion, is that
I get a little banana around my house. I get some enormous bunch, 12, 13, 14 on.
Wow.
Planting, some hell of a big, what you call house planting.
Yeah.
Wherever I could plant, I plant. But let me tell you something, what has really hurt me. When I go in the supermarket and I see banana and plantain marked Dole, and you know why I don't really, and if I go home and I eat in my kitchen, I turn them outside. Because I don't think they should be in my kitchen.
Yeah. They shouldn't be in the country at all.
Let me tell you the reason why. St. Vincent, Dominica, St. Lucia, and them countries were supplying Great Britain with bananas. England destroyed. Not England, America destroyed.
America, yeah.
Because they claim England should buy from South America.
Well, they claim unfair treatment.
Why aren't we bringing banana from Dominica, St. Vincent, St. Lucia? Why we not bringing, with some boat coming in here now with food? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The banana industry in St. Vincent is totally wiped out now, you know.
Yeah.
You might believe it. Nobody plant banana in St. Vincent. And I'm going to tell you something tonight that may sound like a joke. You have to get a degree in agriculture to plant banana in St. Vincent now. If you don't have a school living certificate, you cannot plant banana. And it might sound like a joke, but then a joke is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Because you know all over the world, you know, you got people just do farming, somebody don't know the right name. And that's all they can do. But if you do not have a certificate in St. Vincent, you cannot plant banana anymore.
Yeah.
Those things are wiped out. Now, we've been talking about financial service. A lot of people fail to understand that the lifespan for financial service might be the next 10 years. Might be the next 10 years, might go before. The tourist industry down. Now we're going, as you know, Sam. We all here talking about the cruise ship dock, the final airport, but they're telling the people. I hate people say that the airport will start in January. It ain't no way in hell it's going to happen. Because England ain't going to happen, because to plan it alone is 3 years. And they ain't telling people the truth about them things. So right now, we're in the red in Tatola, and we're going to be in the red for a long time. Because a lot of unfairness going on, and nobody is telling nobody the truth. And let me say something too. In the contract give out now, England will make sure they don't have no change order on it. No variation. So that's the reason why you can take 3 years to plan it. A lot of people don't know, and because they ain't telling people the truth. Because if that ain't going to happen neither. Not like how I think it is. Trust me, that is what's happening right now. You see that piece of declaration on the sign? Go back to that and I was happening going on. They ain't doing it no more. It ain't going to happen. It ain't no more like the hospital where every minute somebody come and change something. That's because this country like out yesterday. Okay, Sam.
Thank you so much, Carla. Shawande Koi. We're not going to talk tourism tonight, but it's pretty obvious that even with agriculture, tourism is a big factor. You know, we gonna all agree on that.
Of course.
But food security, he talked about. You know, again, we were talking about the Caribbean countries that used to produce a lot of food because of England and America and the war between the growers in South America. You know, a lot of our Caribbean brothers and sisters lost their preferential treatment with the European Union. It's bad. If these people are encouraged to grow food around their yard and we had a depot where people can go and sell their product, to like the fishery here that we have here, and you're able to now to sell it to the government, and government sell it to whoever. Would that help us?
Well, what I'd like to do before I switch to that particular aspect of the question, just to touch a bit on the tourism side of it, people don't recognize that agriculture is actually a part of the tourism package. You call it agri-tourism, where you merge the two. You don't have to separate them. They actually work in harmony with each other. Because when tourists do come off of a vessel, if there's anything that they would appreciate more,
it's food.
Is a locally grown product. They don't want to see dole. They don't want to know that Tyson chicken is in the market. As a matter of fact, we have done research where we would visit the markets when products are dropped off, and the people, it's so shocking but very encouraging. The people who actually go for the product that seemingly to be expensive are the tourists. So that in itself is a market that you can entertain. You see what I'm saying? So we can't throw it on the side and say, well, hey, let's not focus on tourism. It is, because agriculture is the foundation for manufacturing and commerce. So how could you separate them?
And just to add to that point about tourism, when a tourist comes, they want a unique experience. So if they see a unique fruit that they've never seen in the United States, that's a big deal for them. If something else prepared in the way that we prepare it and they've never seen that before, trust me, it's a huge market. And when tourists come down here, it doesn't have much benefit to your economy if they're not spending money within the economy. And the more money they spend on locally produced food, that's adding to the size of your GDP.
But even you know, again, ladies and gentlemen, our focus is agriculture tonight. We're talking about food security, health of our food, being able to supply the market. We want to have that focus tonight because we realize it's something that needs to be talked about. Shawande Koi, looking at the local population, it's so diverse. There's such a huge opportunity for farmers and even the government to get in on this thing. You have Indians, we have Filipinos, we have, you know, it's something we're going to talk about later, but we're going to jump into it. Looking at niche within the market. Talk to me about that. Talk to me about growing things that you know you could grow fast enough to supply the market, where supermarkets, hopefully, and we're hoping that they would embrace that and say, if they can get 30% or 20% or 40% of this particular thing locally, they don't have to import it, which reduce their overhead, which reduce their cost to import. It also will help them to move forward and promote local and product and healthier product. Talk to me about that.
Well, you would focus perhaps, as you said, on the Indian side and the Philippine side, but may I say the very local side of the population. There are staple things that we can actually focus on, you know, that we have to use every day. You know, we can focus on cucumber, tomato, eggplant. These are products that you would in any time of preparing a meal, would have to come on the meal or on the menu.
And that's just on the crop side.
And that's on the crop side. I mean, if you go anywhere, you'll find chicken and fish.
Absolutely.
You know, if you don't get a steak, you can get some chicken, perhaps some fish, and that's the culture. The culture is pretty much familiar with fish and chicken. These are areas that we can actually tap into, because the import bill is so high. If we just target a percentage, perhaps a 30%, as you rightfully said, you see how much revenue stay in the country. Matter of fact, it brings a lifestyle change because you get a healthier product.
That's right.
You're looking at education, as the brother who called in earlier said that he recognized in other countries in the Caribbean you have to have some level of certification or degree to actually get involved. He thinks it's ludicrous, but it's exactly right, because this is a science field. As a matter of fact, every university that you see, once it's a university, it always embraces some faculty of agricultural science.
Yeah, definitely.
You check it out.
Guys, we're going to take a break for a few minutes and we're going to come back. When we come back, I just want to read to you guys and the folks watching. I saw an article in the Guardian newspaper. This one also talked about food shortage could force world into vegetarianism. One scientist. So the scientists are even saying that with the scarce of water and looking at poor countries throughout the world, Africa and so forth, that food as far as poultry and meat, we might all have to become vegetarian anyway. By 2050, the estimate the world population will be about 9 billion people.
Wow.
And only a fifth or a sixth of those people have access to water and food, and then the rest of us going to be starving. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break real quick where we're going to come back. We want to keep this discussion going. Please call us tonight. You don't have to worry about who might recognize your voice. It's not political tonight. It's about food and security and safety and health of our people, and supporting a local farmer. So feel free to call. You don't have to text tonight. You can call. It's nothing political tonight. We're not bashing the government. We don't have no personal agenda. We're just about educating and enlightening you guys about the farmers and the work that farmers are doing and the grassroots organization. Farmers on the Move. You're gonna hear more about that, because I'm gonna blow that up tonight. That's something very, very important. Farmers on the Move. So we'll take a break and we'll be right back.